Well, welcome. My name's Ian Campbell from Fortem Australia. I'm on Ngunnawal country in Canberra this morning, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. But today's event brings together people from near and far, and I extend that respect and acknowledgement to the custodians and the traditional owners of all the lands on which we meet today. Fortem Australia is a charity that looks after the mental health and wellbeing of first responders and their families. These are the people that care for and protect our community right across Australia. Today represents a significant deepening of our work and our commitment to this community with the launch of Fortem's Transition and Employment Program. Shortly, we'll hear from Fortem's co-founder and Managing Director, John Bale, as well as the Minister for Home Affairs, Karen Andrews. Also joining our conversation this morning, some of our pledge partners representing organisations big and small who are committed to helping us create new career and life opportunities for first responder families. We'll also hear from the Assistant Commissioners of the Australian Federal Police and Australian Border Force, and we'll hear the lived experience of a former Queensland police officer. But to start our conversation this morning, John Bale, Managing Director of Fortem Australia. Welcome, John.
Thanks so much, Ian. And thank you all for being here and joining us today for the launch of Fortem Australia's Transition and Employment Program. As Ian said, Fortem Australia is a non-for-profit that supports the mental health and wellbeing of first responders and their families, the people who protect and care for our community. We do this by providing programs that focus on family resilience, mental fitness, and clinical support. Since launching in 2019, we have had over 10,000 first responders and their family members attend our programs, either in person or virtually. And today we are delighted to launch our Transition and Employment Program to our suite of services. Fortem's Transition and Employment Program will support national security and law enforcement personnel leaving service and their family members who are looking for a new life and career opportunities following their service. The end goal is to enable a smooth, supported transition into the next meaningful chapter of their lives. We learnt the importance of this at Soldier On, where we've developed an award-winning transition and employment program for veterans and their families. Like veterans, national security and law enforcement personnel have wonderful, transferable skills that are often underappreciated by both the private sector and the person themselves. Fortem will help address this gap. Members of the national security and law enforcement community are effective leaders and team members. They are committed to the tasks, results-driven problem solvers, and have qualities and values across a broad range of interests and specialities. To support these national security and law enforcement personnel, Fortem has reached out to a number of Australia's most trusted, recognised and dynamic brands, covering a wide range of industries, as well as training and learning institutions and volunteering organisations. The response has really been fantastic, even in these chaotic and very trying times. You will hear later this morning from some of our pledge partners who already understand the opportunity to their organisation that these wonderful people represent. By the end of September, we will be on track to have over 30 companies signed up to this new program. We also recognise that it is important to offer support training, education upskilling and volunteer opportunities for other post-service roles and careers. Our network and approach allows us, for example, to be working with a transitioning member of the Australian Border Force and not only highlight the private sector jobs that are applicable, but also the state emergency service or rural fire service volunteering role that might also make their transition better. And this goes to the point that this is not the launch of a job placement program, it is a full transition service. Fortem's wellbeing programs and clinical support are a cornerstone of the Transition and Employment Program. We will not simply place people into roles and move on, but continue to link them into our programs and services to ensure we meet our higher mission of supporting their and their families' mental health and wellbeing. To run this program, we have an exceptional team of transition engagement officers. Each comes with lived experience of being in a first responder agency themselves and will offer a personalised approach based on the unique circumstances of each person and their family. Our transition team offers one-on-one case management, introductions to our pledge partners, resume and job application support, interview and coaching, networking, support opportunities that recognise prior learning, and post-employment support. In my short speech, you might have picked up that although Fortem supports all first responders, which includes state-based emergency services, this program is only starting with national security and state law enforcement agencies. We are in talks with a number of state emergency service agencies about joining this program and look forward to announcing this as we progress. All of this would not be possible without the support of the Commonwealth Government, who provided $1.9 million in funding to support the healthy, positive, and timely transition of a national security and law enforcement personnel. And on this note, I would like to thank the Minister for Home Affairs, the Honourable Karen Andrews MP, for joining us this morning to launch Fordham's Transition and Employment Program. Thank you for your support, Minister, in making this program a reality, and we are delighted to ask you to say a few words. Minister.
Well, thank you very much, John, and can I thank you for your service in the Army? And I understand a number of tours of duty in Afghanistan. Thank you so much for that service and for your role in defending Australia. Can I also thank you for the work that you have done with Soldier On? It's a program that I'm very familiar with, and it's done some fantastic good for many of our veterans as they transition into a new role post their service. And can I also congratulate you on the work that you have done now with Fortem Australia, the transition to employment program that you have established now, I think is going to be absolutely magnificent. And I am very much looking forward to seeing that program roll out. I'm very, very happy that $1.9 million of funding has come from the federal government, and that has come through the proceeds of crime. So it does appeal to me that we are taking back $1.9 million that the Crims have managed to gain and put it back into our law enforcement agencies to support them. Look, our defence people, but our first responders do an absolutely magnificent job. Now, I don't have first-hand experience of much of the work that they do, but I've heard many stories over many years of what they've had to deal with day in and day out. And of course, having to live those experiences would take an enormous toll on your mental health. So from the federal government's point of view, we are absolutely delighted to be supporting this program, to provide support to those people who have done so much for our country, in many cases over a number of years. And John, if I could pick up one of the points that you made before when you were speaking about effectively transferable skills. There are many transferable skills that our law enforcement agencies have instilled into their employees over many, many years. So I would encourage many employers to actually look at the skill set that they are looking for, look at the qualities that these people already have, the skill set that they already have, because I think they will make excellent employees for the future. I am truly delighted to be part of today's launch. I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to staying in touch as this program rolls out across Australia.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Minister, your presence adds real weight to our conversation this morning. Thank you so much for your time. And John, your ongoing leadership in this space really inspires. So thank you both for your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speakers represent people Fortem Australia seeks to serve and support, and bring that frontline perspective to our understanding of career and life transition. Lisa Gale is the Assistant Commissioner of the Australian Federal Police. Assistant Commissioner Gale joined the AFP in 1987. A significant portion of her career has been dedicated to roles within child protection, where she's overseen significant reform and global collaboration in combating the exploitation of children, slavery and people smuggling. Welcome, Assistant Commissioner Gale.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. For those of you who don't know me, Lisa Gale from the Australian Federal Police. I'd just like to start by just commenting that for many people, policing, law enforcement, and other similar careers is so much more than just a job. It's a way of life. Within this context, the Australian Federal Police devotes a significant portion of time and effort and resources to supporting our members' health, safety and wellbeing. I note that we're here today to talk about Fortem Australia's transition and employment program, something that we're very keen to partner with. Today, it is my absolute privilege to support all first responders and their families through all the programs offered by Fortem Australia. I encourage all first responders to take advantage of the support network Fortem provides from family resilience to mental fitness to assistance with transition and employment to support our members as they navigate the transition into civilian life. For me, as a police officer with over 34 years experience, I've seen firsthand through the lived experience the toll being a first responder can have on both the individual and their family. The programs and support offered by Fortem Australia means that first responders such as myself can continue to do what we do best, no matter what our role in keeping the community and ourselves safe post-transition from our roles, whether it's national security or law enforcement. Thank you for the invitation to be here today.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you for your service, especially during these difficult times in Australia's history. And please pass on our gratitude to the women and men that you work with every day. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Ian.
Take care. Bye-bye. James Watson is the Acting Assistant Commissioner South and Enforcement with Australian Border Force. The women and men of the ABF are Australia's frontline border law enforcement agency and customs service. Their mission is to protect Australia's border and enable legitimate travel and trade. Welcome, Acting Assistant Commissioner James Watson. Thank you for your time, James.
Oh, thanks, Ian. And can I just thank everybody who's got behind this initiative by Fortem Australia, this opportunity to transition and employment to take part in transition and employment programs as part of the ABF is really something very special. When I reflect upon my own history, starting out in the Army, spending some time with the Federal Police, and then finally ending up in the Australian Border Force, I think about the skills and that I've picked up personally along the way, whether that's deploying to onshore environments and onshore theatres or into overseas service in Solomon's, Timor, Afghanistan, or PNG. Those sorts of skills, we look at them and we think, well, what are the sorts of things that are special about those areas? You know, you bring yourself, people who undertake that sort of duty, they bring a can-do attitude, they bring order out of chaos, they work within a law enforcement and a compliance operating environment. They understand laws and regulations. They care for community. They're great planners and logisticians. They're adaptable, they're reliable, they're resilient, and of course, they have at the heart of their being service to the community. And so when Fortem Australia was thinking about undertaking this new transition and employment program, I really was incredibly pleased to be able to speak on behalf of the Australian Border Force as to how excited we are to work not only with Fortem, but also to those pledge partners who have also signed up today, the 30 partners that we're hearing about, those that are initially on board. Can we just say thank you for your continuing service to us, and it is something that is really very much appreciated. I think that from an Australian Border Force point of view, I have no doubt that we will have great continuing take up in the work that Fortem Australia does. We're lucky enough to have so many great services that have been delivered to our staff, to our members right around the country. And to have this transition and employment program as a new service is really something very special indeed. This will make a difference to those who are serving right now on the front line. So I'm absolutely delighted. I'm so grateful that Fortem Australia continues the great work that it does. But I really acknowledge the pledge partners who have taken this initiative, who have now allowed this initiative to go forward in the way that it has. So to you, Ian, thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and just say thank you to you and to our pledge partners for some of the opportunities that lay ahead of us for our officers.
Thank you so much, James. Some really wise words there. There's a lot of support in the room for you and the men and women you work with, and it sounds like you really feel that. And I'm happy to hear that you'll be passing that on to your colleagues. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and we look forward to supporting you and the women and men that you work with into the future. Thank you. James mentioned there that one of the key elements of Fortem's transition and employment program is our work and our relationship with our pledge partners. Fortem is proud to be working with some of Australia's biggest and indeed smallest companies and organisations who are committed to supporting job, training, education, upskilling and volunteering opportunities for post-service roles and careers. Today we'll hear from 3 such organisations. Let me introduce you to one of them. Dirk Nordweer is the General Manager Australia for BAE Systems Applied Intelligence. BAE helps nations, governments and businesses around the world defend themselves against cybercrime, reducing their risk in our ever-connected world while complying with regulation and transforming operations. Welcome to our conversation this morning, Dirk. Really appreciate your time. We got you there, Dirk. I know you've been having some internet troubles this morning.
Yeah, I know. I think we're okay now.
Yes.
Applied Intelligence is really excited to have signed our partnership with Fordham Australia to support employment partnership with Fordham. We're hoping that the support that we provide for our veterans now will go to a broader community and support those that we've just spoken about in national security, law enforcement, and first responders. And from personal experience, I can say that transitioning from the public to private sectors can be challenging. So BAE Systems Applied Intelligence are going to assist Fortem in that endeavour through the transition, through the establishment of a formal mentoring program that will be led by our senior leadership team. And in addition, we're going to offer a secondment program where Fordham Australia's partners will be able to formally integrate into our business for a specified period in order to gain new skills and experience. And we'll also make places available in our cyber apprenticeship program, and we're particularly excited about the apprenticeship program. It will help develop relevant digital workforce skills, and it's supported through Commonwealth Government digital workforce training programs. And lastly, I'd just like to say that I'm really proud to have been invited to represent BAE Systems on the Industry Advisory Council, and I'm looking forward to working with the organisation and my fellow pledge partners in guiding the development of Fortem's Transition Employment Program for national security and law enforcement personnel. Thank you very much.
Good on you, Dirk. Thank you so much. Some exciting opportunities there for our first responder community with BAE Systems. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Take care. Philip Jenkinson is the Chief Executive Officer of Vadim Solutions, one of the first organisations to sign on as a pledge partner with Fortem's new Transition and Employment Program. Established in 2018, Vadim Solutions is a 100% Australian-owned and operated First Nations information technology business. Welcome to our conversation this morning, Pip. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you for allowing us to have the opportunity to speak to this amazing concept that you guys have come up with. So thank you.
Pip, give us a sense of your interest in this program, your commitment to the Transition and Employment Program. Why is Vadim Solutions involved?
Well, a number of reasons. Firstly, we put our hands up very early on to support John in the Soldier On program. We saw the benefits of that quite clearly. Then when Fortem, the concept of Fortem came around to migrate or to navigate men and women from the OO branches back into civilian jobs, it was a no-brainer. The transferable skills that these men and women possess are highly sought after in an Australian sovereign security capability. There are times that men and women come from the OO branches, and Vadim Solutions currently employs a 22-year veteran from Victorian Police and a 10-year veteran from New South Wales Police, where this self-doubt can creep in, what we refer to as imposter syndrome. So that's where we start talking about, am I good enough? Do I deserve this? And the answers are always yes, you absolutely deserve to have a go. So we are supporting these men and women in a culture that encompasses security, love, trust, encouragement, and echoing James and Lisa and Minister Andrews' words about shared experiences and allowing these men and women to continue to service the community. We specialise in security outcomes for state and federal government. I couldn't think of a better pond of cybersecurity aspirants than the OO branch. So we're really proud, super excited to support continuing migration from public into private sector.
Good on you, Pip. Great to have you on board. You and your history and your work in this space prove the theory and point to the need that we're looking to work together with you on. So thank you so much for your time this morning and your commitment as a pledge partner to Fortem's Transition and Employment Program. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ian.
Take care. Bye-bye. There's Pip Jenkinson from Vadim Solutions. Let's meet another one of our pledge partners now. Maurice Ben-Mayor is president of Stryker South Pacific and didn't take too much convincing to join Fortem and our work with the first responder community. Stryker is one of the world's leading medical technology companies. They offer innovative products and services in orthopaedics, medical and surgical, neurotechnology and spinal needs. Welcome to our conversation this morning, Maurice, and thank you so much for your commitment to the program at Fortem.
Yeah, thank you, Ian, and also thanks to John and the Fortem team for the invite to this very special occasion. As president of Stryker South Pacific, I am very humbled to be part of this important event, and as one of the foundation partners of Fortem, especially with this transition program, we're looking forward to engaging with members as they embark on this journey of transitioning from public to private careers. We at Stryker focus on individuals' unique strengths, talents and skills, and while we respect everyone's experience and resumes, it's really what makes you that gets us excited, and this really fosters a culture of where employees feel safe, engaged and included. And so our pledge to Fortem signifies on Stryker's behalf a very supportive employment process, and where we'll encourage and really leverage these individual differences as people transition their careers. Now, we've seen firsthand the benefits of such transition programs. We were foundation members with Soldier On, and that has proved very successful. We've over the last 3 years employed 23 veterans into our organisation as an example, and we're looking to emulate this success with the Fortem team as well with this program. So we're very excited about our continued engagement with Fortem and this transition program, and really congratulations to John and the broader Fortem team for what you've achieved so far, and we're very excited about what is still to come. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Maurice. Great to have you guys on board. Stryker adds such weight to what we do. Thank you so much. Maurice Ben-Mayor there, who is the president of Stryker South Pacific. We've talked a lot about the people on the front line of our community, and our next speaker embraces that idea from a couple of perspectives. As a frontline Queensland police officer of 20 years, and now he's at the front line of Fortem's Transition and Employment Program as one of our transition engagement officers. Joining us from Queensland this morning, welcome Anthony Furrow. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Anthony, in your work with Fortem, you bring lived experience to this conversation. Tell us a little bit about your history and your work in this space.
Thank you, Ian. It's a real honour for me to speak today at the launch of the Fortem Australia Transition and Employment Program, and to share some of my story as a former first responder and as a member of the Fortem team. I had the privilege of joining Fortem this year to head up the program in Queensland. As you said, I work with my inspiring transition team members in the other states who have all worked for first responder agencies, and with the very talented local crew here on the Gold Coast. You know, some people say that life is a journey, and when I left service some years ago, I never thought for a minute that my career would wheel around in a full circle and I'd find myself today back engaging with the same agencies and people who framed most of my adult working life and who are very important to me. But here I am. Before my journey brought me to Fordham, I served in the Queensland Police Service for some 20 years, was a relieving inspector in Southern Queensland prior to leaving the organisation. I served as a frontline first responder in Southeast, Southwest and far northern Queensland, and I also served in the Queensland Fire and Emergency Service for a period as an emergency communications officer. During my service, I proudly received 3 medals from the state and Commonwealth. Then I faced a difficult, stressful and confronting situation of caring for an ill family member, so I made the tough decision to leave the service. I moved into the business world where, as a company director, I developed a number of businesses in the areas of financial services, business development, marketing, corporate training, and a few other areas. When I left service, there was no transition program, no one to prepare first responders and their families for the changes about to hit them, no one to assist in the planning or identification of new opportunities, and definitely no whole of family support. It was, quite frankly, a jarring experience. There was the loss of colleagues, the loss of identity, the loss of stable income, the loss of professional prestige, and most importantly, the loss of a rock-solid and fundamental belief in the real and genuine value and purpose of the work I did wearing a blue shirt. Fast forward to today, and most of the former first responders, be they police, fire officers, paramedics or others that I speak to, use the words jarring, confronting, stressful, and others to describe their own departure and transition from service. Sadly, so many can't see the kit bag of skills they bring to new employers and see themselves pigeonholed as law enforcement, fireys, AMBOs, or national security specialists. But they are absolutely 100% wrong about that. I was fortunate. My wife and I together, but alone, worked through the challenges of transition. I developed my academic qualifications and built a successful business career until COVID intervened, as it has for many. But without an effective transition program, it took me some 10 years to feel like I had left the building. In 2021, a new opportunity popped up for me with Fortem Australia as a transition engagement officer, working in the new Commonwealth-funded program. I vividly recall reading the job advertisement, getting more excited with each line that I read. My colleagues and I have been working hard to develop the program, its structure, governance policies, and operating procedures. In collaboration with our stakeholder engagement team, we're engaging with the various agencies, building new and important relationships, linking in with Fortem Clinical Services and community engagement activities, and rolling out the program to our first responders. We are offering real support, a validation of their experiences, and a structure to facilitate the transference of their skills to a new beginning. I encourage first responders and national security people leaving service and their agencies to join hands with Fortem and turn a jarring experience into a soft landing. First responders are hardwired for service to their communities, and they deliver great value to new employers. Being part of the transition and employment program has been an incredible and hugely motivating experience for me. I see a clear vision, real purpose, and genuine outcomes for the people we are helping through the program and for those soon to enroll. There is no greater motivator than seeing the benefits for these amazing people. And for me, I once again see a real purpose and value to the work I'm doing, and I don't need to be wearing a blue shirt and badge this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony. An amazing story. Congratulations on what you've achieved and the journey that you've been on. Your story points to the why, the purpose, what inspires Fortem Australia every single day, but especially so our transition and employment program. And one of the things I took from what you just said there is the acknowledgement that you gave your your wife, your inner circle, your family, and I know that the family support that first responders receive right around Australia is critical to their mental fitness and wellbeing. And I'm so happy to hear you acknowledge that this morning. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
look, one of the things I'm really proud of at Fortem is that many of our staff, indeed most of our staff, come to our work with lived experience as you do, and that really sits in the heart and in the engine room of Fortem Australia, that lived experience as a first responder and the dedication and the commitment that you guys now put back into that community to support them going forward. Thank you for your work. Thank you for sharing your story with us this morning.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Anthony. Anthony Furrow, one of our new transition engagement officers working there on the Gold Coast with Fortem's new transition and employment program, and an inspiring story from Anthony this morning. Indeed, we've heard from a dynamic group of speakers this morning, all focused on supporting our first responder community. Thank you so much to everyone who took part, and thank you to you for watching, for taking an interest in the mental fitness and the wellbeing of our first responder community. Your interest acknowledges the gratitude and the service of these women and men, and it's really appreciated this morning. If you'd like some more information about Fortem's employment and transition program, head to our website. But indeed, as John pointed to earlier, Fortem provides a range of services to support the mental fitness and the wellbeing of first responders and their families. We have a great range of wellbeing activities that are happening every single day, every single week in communities up and down the East Coast. Especially during lockdown, there are a range of virtual activities happening right now that you can engage with. Head to the Fortem Australia website and check out our wellbeing activities calendar. And of course, for those needing deeper support, that is there as well through our clinical services, a great team of psychologists that are ready to meet with you either face-to-face when we can or via telehealth. And I'll include those contact details and those services with this video as well. Again, thank you so much for tuning in today and taking an interest in our first responder community. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.